Hey, what's up, guys? Alright, so after reading this week's chapter of the 100-Year Quest, I kind of get the feeling that this story is actually going to be a lot shorter than I initially thought. Because when I first heard that we're getting a sequel to Fairy Tail, I thought, alright, sweet, hopefully we're going to get something like Boruto. And after reading the first chapter, I thought we actually might. But after reading this one, I'm thinking that we actually might have a set amount of chapters for the series. I'm thinking probably at most 50. Simply because of the fact of how fast the plot got rolling in this week's chapter. I mean, seriously, not only did we actually get Eleftheria, and that's the dragon or the old guy who's actually sending Natsu and them on the quest to take out the Penadrakes. Not only did he send them actually after the first Penadrake dragon, we also found out some pretty important information about the Penadrakes. We found out exactly how some of the other guild members from Fairy Tail are going to be involved in the plot and, kind of doing their own thing. We kind of tied Toka back into things a little bit. And we actually meet a Penadrake at the end of the chapter. Spoiler alert for all you guys who probably didn't read the chapter. I don't know why you're watching this video if you didn't. But yeah, we actually end up seeing one of the dragons at the very end of the chapter. So things are moving pretty quickly. Which, speaking about the Penadrakes, one of the things we actually find out in this chapter about them is that each five of them are as strong, if not stronger, than Acnologia. And when I first read that, I was kind of like, okay, well, this is going to be, alright, this is going to be epic then. Because we're going to see all the other Dragon Slayers, we're going to see some other members of Fairy Tail, some of the other mages from Magnolia possibly get involved in the series, or even some new mages from this new continent that we haven't met yet be involved in taking out the Penadrakes. And then they kind of played it off as a joke because they see because then you have Natsu and Gray and all of them basically that's kind of laughing. And Ursa basically tells Eleftheria that, hey, Natsu was actually the one who took down Acnologia, so taking out the other five dragons shouldn't be a problem as long as we take them on one at a time. Which, when I heard that, I was like, alright, true. Natsu technically was the one who took down Acnologia. But if you go back to the chapter where he actually took him down, you will see that not only did he have to get all the magical energy that was left from the other 6 Dragon Slayers that were on the ground who had fought Acnologia alongside him up to that point, they needed all the other mages to basically stop Acnologia's dragon body, so his real body or his astral body would actually just stay in place long enough for Natsu to land that finishing blow on him. So yeah, Natsu took out Acnologia, but he needed literally everyone from the series to do it, so I don't see how exactly he's so confident that he could take out the other dragons when he could barely take out Acnologia without literally everyone else backing him up. Some other information we end up finding out about the Penadrakes is basically that apparently if the 5 of them were to go at war with each other, they could potentially destroy the world. So because of that, for the past 400 or so years, they basically just been staying silent, basically not doing anything to the point where pretty much no one knows they exist. In fact, it's mentioned that only a few people, even in the Magic Council and Magnolia, actually are aware of them. And we also find out that apparently they were around during the whole Dragon King Festival, which if you don't know from the original Fairy Tail series, the Dragon King Festival was basically when dragons who were basically trying to destroy the world or destroy humanity were going up against dragons who were working along with humans to basically, save humanity. And basically a war between the two sides, and that's actually where Acnologia came to power because after he turned into a dragon, he basically, he just went back and forth killing people on his side and people on the other side until he was the only dragon left, claiming himself to be king. So yeah, apparently they were around during that, and they just decided not to get involved with the war at all. And we also find out that apparently, at least the water dragon, the place where we actually see him at the end of the chapter, apparently when he went there initially, the people kind of treated him like he was a god, and he kind of protected them all the time. So, basically, the more we found out about the dragons or the Penadrakes in this chapter, the more I questioned whether or not they were actually a threat to the world and they actually need to be sealed off. And it has me actually kind of wondering, what if the Penadrakes aren't actually the bad guys for the series? What if they actually aren't the true villains for this? What if they're actually just a red herring? And all this time, Eleftheria is actually our true villain. Because, I mean, this wouldn't be the first time in a manga series or anime series that basically the old guy or the guy who seems to be good, seems to be on the up and up, is actually the true villain of the whole thing. And he's basically sending you after people, or sending the good guys after people who could potentially stop him from succeeding in his plan. Because, thinking back to it, we don't really know much about this guy besides the fact that he was the first mage, or he was creator of the first mage guild. And he was around that village that supposedly, I guess, got destroyed by the Penadrakes 100 years ago. But we don't really know what happened during that scene. All we saw in the beginning of the first chapter was that Eleftheria was at that destroyed village and he walked away. We didn't see any Penadrake dragons there. We didn't see anyone else who destroyed the village. We just saw him being the sole survivor. Now, it could be that he's on the up and up and that basically he's telling the truth in all this and he's just confused Like, he thinks that the Penadrakes are evil, and maybe they actually are. We haven't actually had a true interaction with any of them. But still, the fact that, basically they seem peaceful this entire time, the fact that they didn't get involved in Dragon King Festival, the fact that, even at least the water dragon is being treated as a god in the town that he kind of rules over, it's just really starting to make you question Elsaria's motives. So anyway, he basically sends them to the harbor town Elmina, where they're going to find the first Penedrake dragon, the water dragon god, Merkfovia, something like that. I can't exactly pronounce it right. But anyway, that's exactly where they're heading off. And he basically tells them that's the only one he's managed to track down. The other four, they're basically on their own with. And on the way there, they actually end up running into like these cute little, it's like a cute scene. We see these cute little jellyfish creatures, on their way there. And instantly, as soon as they see them, two of them jump basically in Lucy and Natsu's mouth. Now, Natsu obviously eats his because he doesn't care. He'll eat anything that basically jumps in his mouth. Lucy, on the other hand, spits hers out, but she said that, her mouth's kind of numb, which is to be expected. Jellyfish creature obviously is going to have some kind of poison. Now, the fact that we spent so much time focusing on these jellyfish leads me to think that they're going to be somehow important to the plot when they're actually fighting the water dragon. So I'm starting to wonder, if I'm right about that and they actually do end up becoming important to the plot in some way, does that mean each time we go and fight a Penedrake, we're going to end up fighting little creatures like this? Because I'd be actually kind of dig that. It'd be a little bit of world building, outside of Magnolia, where we actually get to see other creatures from other continents. It'd be a little interesting to see that because, say we go up against, say the next Penedrake they go up against is like an Earth Dragon. Then we could potentially see like, I don't know, fucking mole rats or just moles in general, just kind of like little mole creatures that actually work with the dragon. That'd be pretty interesting to see. Like I said, I like to see the world building done in that way. Anyway, while they're on their way to Elmina, we actually end up finding out exactly what the reward for the quest is. And that's basically that they're promised any one thing they all individually want, the most in the world. So basically, anything that they desire is just theirs, any one thing. And we find out exactly what three of them are planning on wishing for in this chapter. Alright, so Lucy, she, obviously we already knew what the reason why she was going on this quest to begin with, was because she wants to get back Aquarius' key. So now Gray, I was completely off base with Gray. I figured, since he's connected to Altair, since he has such a connection with her, I figured that he would want to save her from, her old age, and that his journey for his whole purpose for the quest would be to find a cure for her. But no, apparently his reward, if they succeed in the quest, the only thing he wants as a reward is a cat like Frosh. Now, Wendy's was the most surprising and not surprising at the same time, if you remember her character at all from the original fairy tale. Basically, her wish, or her reward, is that she wants big boobs. That's pretty much it. After they complete the quest, she wants Elsaria to give her big boobs. That's pretty much her only request for this entire thing. Which, is kind of fitting for her character. She's always kind of, hated the fact that she's kind of short. I mean, technically, she was like 19 at this point, but she's still trapped in a 12-year-old body. So, she kind of wants to hurry things up a little bit. Now, we don't find out exactly what Urza wants as a reward, but it is worth mentioning that she seems to be the only one of the 7 who's questioning whether or not this whole thing's on the up and up. Because, like she said in the chapter, whatever you want most in the world, that seems like a too good to be true kind of reward for this kind of quest. I mean, yeah, it makes sense for a 100-year quest, something of this magnitude where you have to fight 5 dragons. That makes sense that you would get anything you want in the world, but still, it seems a little questionable that this guy would be able to do that. And then, this kind of helps my suspicions of the fact that Elsaria probably isn't on the up and up. After that, we check in with my boy Gajil, and we see Levi, Lily, and Duvia all there with him. And basically, we find out that their whole tie into the plot is basically they're going to be investigating Toka. Because like we saw in a previous chapter, Toka knew about Blair when she shouldn't have, because Blair was, after the whole Avatar thing was done and over with, she was captured, and only a handful of people knew about her outside the people that were directly involved. So the fact that she knows about her, despite the fact that she had no connection to that thing whatsoever, leads them to, be suspicious of her. So the 4 of them are basically just going to spend the entire series, or at least the next few chapters, figuring out exactly what's up with her and figuring out exactly how she truly is connected to Natsu. But that's the only thing we really know about her, is that she has some kind of affection or some kind of connection to Natsu. And I'm starting to wonder that maybe she's actually a Penedrake. I'm starting to wonder if maybe she actually is just one of the Penedrakes. And after hearing about the fact that Natsu was the one who defeated Acnologia, she came to basically test him out and see what he's about for herself. So yeah, I'm guessing that's exactly how we're going to tie Gajil back into the plot. Basically have him go up against her as a Penedrake after she comes into contact with Natsu. And then we get to the end of the chapter where we basically just see Natsu and his gang end up in Elmina, which basically the town looks pretty run down. It looks like it's a fucking ghost town. But at the same time, people are still there. Like, the town looks completely destroyed. They even mention that in the chapter. And then literally they're just right away, they're like, all right, let's find lodging, let's find a place to stay. And then after that, we'll get on to the mission and figure out exactly where this Pendrake dragon is. And then as the chapter ends, we pan out to the roof nearby. And we just see Merkfovia, I think is how you pronounce his name. We just see him just chilling on the roof with, I guess, his attendant or his assistant, some chick that's standing next to him. And they're basically just watching over Natsu and them. And that's pretty much it. We don't actually hear any dialogue from him. We see his assistant talking to him, basically, questioning what they're going to do with Natsu and them now that they entered their town. But that's pretty much all we see at the end of the chapter. But that's pretty much all that happened in the chapter. Now, like I said, after reading this week's chapter, I am just 100% suspicious of Eleutheria. I don't think he's on the up and up. I think the whole Pendragon thing is the Pendrake things are basically just a red herring. He's trying to get him out of the way. And basically he just wants to, he is the actual one who's going to try to destroy or take over the world. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure that he's not on the up and up. But we'll have to wait till the series continues to figure out where I'm right. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. I'm excited to see exactly what ends up happening with this water dragon. I'm excited to find out exactly more what's going on with Toka, exactly how she actually is connected to Natsu and what's her secret. But yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens in next week's chapter. But that's it for the review. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Comment down below with your thoughts and theories, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.